Biggie, Tupac, and she was like, slaves. They are slaves to the machine. I said, I don't think you're supposed to call black people slaves, but she has some troubles. He's watched that live and he's singing, well, I can't have them tell. Let's get the big knife out and let's make some hats. The first thing that they eat, you guessed it, the rifle. Welcome everybody to the Daddy Comes First. Welcome everybody to episode 21. And if the internet is to be believed, we are now in the 1% of podcasters. Shout out to my brother who sent me that fact when I was feeling sorry for myself and he thought I needed a wake-up call. He's down in the trenches. He's dealing with stuff. Trinidad is a different place to try and run a construction company. I don't know if I could bust his file, so I'm not going to do that. But he's doing his best. He wanted to come out as transgender when he was young, but he never had a chance, so he just locked himself up in his male body, and that was it. He just went along his way. And so he can be a bit tight. But he's doing his best. He's doing his best. All the episodes are now, and for the future, will be on YouTube's. You hear me now? And then we'll be adding more stuff onto there. It seems there's way more eyeballs there. As people want to watch content, I'm also adding shorts. So if you want to check out the greatest things, just, you know what I mean? Just head over there. Don't make a scene. And take it in. So I just came back from Vacazione, okay? I went into Kerry, a place called Listowel or Listowel. Listle. They probably pronounce it a little bit different. Sorry, my throat is very juicy. Can you hear the juice retreating? You can try. But this is the truth. And I say it now. We never all used to drink out of mason jars. A very hipster thing. I mean, I guess in the country, in the land of the free, maybe they put some alcohol in there and they drink it out. And that's kind of how they enjoyed their moonshine. But I'm talking about white females. They never did it, you know what I mean? And then they became cool. I met, I think, my first hipster in 2006. 2006. I won't use her name, but she had the whole, dressing in men's clothes, ill-fitted, only liked one type of music, which was hip-hop, and only if you've never heard of it. She didn't have any time for the mainstream folks, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, Biggie, Tupac, and she was like, slaves. They are slaves to the machine. I said, I don't think you're supposed to call black people slaves, but, she has some troubles. She would think certain people were misunderstood. I won't call any names. Heil. So she used to drink out of things like this, and I just said, it's a good idea. It's a big container for when you want to be hydrated. For instance, in those days when you smoke a lot of chiva. You understand? How about getting high? How about getting high in Toronto for the first time? Now in Trinidad, you get a little bushweed filled with seeds and long leaf and all this kind of thing. You gotta try and clean it to just have the bud. But really and truly, I was a lazy person and I would just roll it up with seeds and leaf and pop, thing be going off like popcorn in the spliff. But it was very enjoyable. I still remember my first time. I was down on a beach with my relatives and they got me into the dope, kids. This is why you shouldn't keep decent people in your life. They led me astray. And I was on the beach in the middle of the night. The moon was up in the sky. Me and my cousin had been pulling for the first time. My other cousins, they were hitting it from a long time. And I've never laughed so hard in my entire life. And then you're just kind of chasing that, you know what I mean? I'm a bit ill-fitted today. You're just kind of chasing that. For the rest of your life, you're thinking, how do I laugh that much again? But weed was, easier. It was kinder to you. You could, 3 men could smoke a thing as big as your arm. You got little giggles. You listen to some tunes. And then you get thirsty. I just always had the munchies. From the moment you know what I mean? It's just munchies. I could eat. I don't understand people who could just smoke and then just like, oh, let me have a snack. Can I have 3 of those chips? So, when I went to Canada, pal, we got robbed for like our first year. They had fellas who were just bringing crap to us, and they had this old Jamaican guy who used to sell us. I'm pretty sure it was mostly thyme and oregano, because we used to smoke a shitload of that and it didn't do nothing. And then one of our brethren, who now owns the finest double spot in Toronto. Actually, I shouldn't blow him up. But he came by with the real thing. And let me tell you something. Woo-wee! It puts you on your ass. It puts you on your ass. So you had to kind of take it easy. You couldn't go too crazy with it. Which I didn't realize, because in Trinidad, you're trying to suck, and hold it in until it make its way out of your chest and kind of get a little high. You don't know high until you move to Canada. And then the paraphernalia. The paraphernalia of it. The bongs and the buckets and the gas masks. All these accoutrements, because it's just been so kind of, not legalized. It legalized while I was there, but it was just so, what's the word, boy? It was just so indulgent. It was indulgent. It felt like a thing. Like if you go to Mexico, tequila and mezcal is a thing. You know what I mean? It's a thing. There's an industry built around it. There are people who are very proud of what they've done for the industry. And Canada was kind of like that. And then the medical marijuana cards came. And of course, you just go to a doctor and say any BS. But you didn't really need to, because it was just so easy to get anyway. But you could fly with it if you had the card, because it was federally licensed. So you would get this cool little kind of container. It looked like a huge pill bottle, but it wasn't white. It was cool colors. I remember I was like, this is sick. And you just go through security. They didn't even checking for your card. They're not even checking your card. Because they don't want the hassle, they don't want the heat. This is my rights, in Canada. As soon as you ball is my rights, forget, you're gone. You're gone, baby girl, you're gone. Girl, you're gone. Girl, you're gone. So, but when you smoke that shit, boy, you want something like this filled with water. Filled. Because that's what it was. So, anyway, I could feel the juice subsiding. The battle between H2O and throat juice is subsiding. I'd just like to say also in the rankings that Trinidad is no longer number 2 in countries. Okay, it's really disgusting. I don't know what's happening, but it is now, let's see, audience. Yeah, Trinidad is number 3 now. Oh no, it was always number 3. Sorry. Trinidad is number 4. The United States of America is number 3. I can't stop talking about the election. I don't know what it is. Denmark is... Ooh, Spain. Spain is on the deck, y'all. España. Still 42% in Ireland. Still half the people are louding me up in Ireland. I really appreciate that. because I've been good to people. I just, by nature, I don't have time to be a dickhole. You ever come across these people and you just think, boy, you are just setting yourself up for a miserable, miserable life. I talk about, in your teenager, in your 20s, whatever, you still have time to come around the bend and realize you're a jackass and fix your ways. But, you meet somebody in like their 40s and 50s and they just, the I'm not talking about agreeable or not agreeable, okay? It's just a Jordan Peterson thing. What I'm talking about is, arch nemesis vibe and being difficult and, my rights or whatever. And you just think this person it's not gonna go anywhere for them. I worked with this fella for years and he just systematically over 10 years shit on every decent job he got. And he'd get good gigs. And I'd be like, bro, just fucking chill out. I mean, mate, just chill out. And you're being fed some decent, I'm not talking about crumbs. Nobody's putting crumbs to your mouth, pigeon. I'm talking about meals. Talking about steak. I'm talking about that kind of stuff. So, we're on the vacation in the country. And these people keep coming in, you know what I mean? The last few years, I said it on a short the other day. We come in the door, it's cold and rainy. Some lady is just sitting on the couch next to the fire. She lit the fire, God bless her, it was cold. Hello? Hi, I'm Mary. I run the place or whatever. Okay, cool. What are you doing here? How have you come upon this place? Please tell me how you've come upon this place. So, you gotta kind of deal with that in a certain way. Because she's running the show and I guess probably she'll leave you a bad Air BnB or whatever rating. But I wonder if some people go in there and like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. All I can think is she's in there changing the film and the camera. That's how old I am. I think those cameras have film. You know what I mean? And I just wonder, what is the percentage of Air BnB that has hidden cameras? Can somebody tell me? Because it is an alarming thought to think that you are there, you and your wife are having relations in a new place, which is always exciting. Get riled up. The ladies especially, they need, men could live in a cave for 40 years and still get aroused at the blow of a testicular breeze. But women are not the same thing. So I feel there's cameras everywhere. And I wonder, does Air BnB take any heat for that? How can you find the cameras? There must be a device where you just go around. Oh, camera in here. And then what do you do? Like, is the guy watching live and he's going to see? Because then you're in a situation, you kind of like murder, you can kind of murder situation. In a kind of murder situation. Because if that guy, it's probably a guy, let's be honest, is watching live and sees that happening, what do you think is happening? What do you think is happening? He's watching that live and he's thinking, well, I can't have them tell. Let's get the big knife out and let's make some hats. Let's get the weed whacker and combine some mulch, some fresh mulch into the compost pile. Don't forget to take the teeth out of the pile. That's what I would do. Yeah, I guess, what do you do with the teeth though? I wonder how teeth would fare in a blender. You put some teeth in a blender. Does it turn it into powder? Like when you put sugar in there? Powdered sugar, powdered teeth. But then when you do the powder, I guess you could probably burn the powdered teeth. And then, what else you had to get rid of? The fingertips? No, you just burn it up or whatever. Or you just mulch it. The bones will just disappear like that. Maybe you... Yeah. What kind of see? You don't really have any big animals in Ireland to kind of eat up all the flesh and that kind of thing. So, like if you're in Canada, you drag them out in the woods, and a bear will deal up with that in no time. A bear and her cubs come around, and actually, this is disturbing. But usually, when bears come upon humans or attack humans, the first thing that they eat, you guessed it, the rifle. You know what I'm talking about? Talking about that extra skin hanging on between your legs there. Talking about the pipe. The pâtissière. The cream bag. You understand? Coming for that first. Nice little snack. And then they move around, they go the easy places, your thighs, your butt. And then they bust open your stomach, and then the wolves deal with the organs, apparently. So that's good. So that's what I think is going on. So I guess if I saw, if I knew there was a camera, this is advice for everybody. If you go into an Airbnb and you find a camera, do not remove the camera, do not see startled, play it cool, because the guy could be in the next room and come over and murder you. You play it cool, enjoy the rest of your vacation, don't get naked too much. And then, when you leave, then you go to the police and you say, yo, just to let you know, there's some cameras in there, but I didn't want to act right away because I didn't want the guy to come in and cut us all up and make clothes out of our back skin. Listen, you think you're coming here just for entertainment? I'm trying to teach you how to live, how to survive in these situations. You're ungrateful is the problem. Well, and what's he doing with the footage? Is he keeping it to himself? Is he selling it on the internet? Like, is my bottom on the internet? Do you ever think about that? How many pictures of your bottom hole are on the internet? From all the Airbnbs you stayed in? How many people know about that mole right below your nuts? Oh, you're lying down, you think you're having fun or whatever. Maybe you don't have a lady there, so you're trying to service yourself, and you fly back in ecstasy, and you know what I mean? Your leather satchel pops up and he goes, oh, look, a mole there. Let me snapshot and put it on the internet, on the dark web. How many bottles are on the dark web that don't know they're on the dark web? And does it matter? If you don't know, does it matter? If you don't know what's happening, you can't offend somebody if they don't know to be offended. For instance, I always thought a good idea for a business would be something called a milking parlor, where men on their way home, maybe they're going through a rough time in their marriage, their wife is not, not super excited. They go and they lie down on a massage table, and there's a hole below on, you know what I mean? Something happens, and then next thing you know, you've been milked. But they will probably run out of female staff because you'll be busy night and day. So they'll have to bring in some switch hitters. You know what I mean? Some homosexuals. Talking about some fruit farmers. Might have to bring them in to help out with the situation. Now, most straight men don't want to know about that. But if they just hit it off, if there's just a blanket, you know what I mean? You sign a waiver saying, listen, when you lie down there and the apparatus starts to take place, it could be anything. Male, female, trans. We might even put an elephant in there. Put some peanut butter on the tip and have the trunk come in and... Bestiality is not fun. Do not do it. But we used to have a dog. I used to have a guy in our neighborhood that would try to get his dog to show the little lipstick, And I guess we found it funny at the time, but I mean, really and truly, he didn't do anything really. He just kind of like shook the dog's legs a little bit, and the dog would get excited, and this little red peep would come out. But you have to wonder in this day and age, that's a bit of bestiality. I could report him. I could still go back and report him. But you have to think about all the stuff they did when you were younger sometimes and just go, holy Jesus Christ, Lord, thank you. There was no such thing as um, phones. You know what I mean? I mean, one time I was down the islands with some partners, right? We're having fun. You know, we go down there, we camping or whatever. And one guy was like, hey, I made a poop toilet. Because there's no facilities. You had to go in the water and do an aqua dump. There's no poop facilities. So this guy here had an old crate, half-liter Coke bottles, a red crate, and he just chopped a hole in the middle and he put ice bag in there, a whole ice bag, and just said, listen, let it rip. Thank God there's no cameras around. Somebody would have definitely filmed that. But what you should know is when you are aqua dumping, there are some rules to follow. One of them is obvious. This is the obvious one. You know what I mean? Chest into the current. Chest into the current, okay? Step number 2, before you release the cigars, tuck yourself into a 90-degree angle when you are in the water. Tuck yourself up and make sure you do your 90, and you just kind of use your hands as bow thrusters to kind of maintain the ship. And then and this is the most important one. Once you let those things fly, hopefully it's solid enough, and the cold water will kind of lock it up. Even if you're semi-firm toothpaste, the cold water will turn it into some you know what I mean, some nice dirt submarines. But do not, reflex actions to get away from those turds as quick as possible, but do not. You have to slowly come away, because what happens is you create a couple of miniature riptides down the center of your back. And what happens is those dukes don't go anywhere. They get caught up in the riptide and they paint up your back like if you're some kind of Samoan about to head out to hunt. You understand? Art all over your back, a mosaic, a free tramp stamp with the doo-doo pencils full of ink, fresh from the factory. So be very careful. And again, y'all think you'll just listen here for kicks. I am offering you life goals, life learnings, life how-tos, examples of how to live. Alright, so I'm going to finish off my water here. My beautiful wife and children should be back from the grossier, very soon. So I have to wrap this up, and I just want to say it's been a pleasure for you. An absolute pleasure for you guys. Thank you for listening to Daddy Comes First. We are now in the 1%. Episode 21 says we're in the 1%. So thank you everybody who's listening. Don't forget you could catch us on the YouTubes now. There are some shorts on there. We'll be uploading more. We have some fun ideas planned with some animation. And much love. And I'll close out with one of my favorite songs of all time. Because I just finished watching the Celine Dion documentary. All by myself, I'm gonna be all by myself. And it's all by myself. All by myself. Daddy comes first.